Welcome everyone to Marvel Hub. This is DK Dynamite, and today we're going to be talking about why Nick Fury never used the pager to request some assistance from Captain Marvel during the events of Avengers 1, when aliens came through a wormhole, when the Avengers nearly lost, and why he didn't call it again when an evil robot almost took over the world and dropped an entire city, which would have destroyed the world in a case where the Avengers nearly lost yet again. So Samuel Jackson just the other day responded to this question, and he said something along the lines of they had everything under control during the first two Avengers films, and that Nick Fury felt that the Avengers were capable of solving the problem on their own. And while that may be true in some aspect, I still do believe at least one point in both of those films, Nick Fury had a doubt in them because they either weren't working together the way that they should have been, or that the enemy was just far too strong. So originally, before I saw Captain Marvel, my original idea was that at some point during Captain Marvel we would see something similar to the Decimation, where maybe some people turn to dust, or the Soul Stone makes an appearance and you could see its power even more. And then maybe in Infinity War, when Nick Fury saw people disappearing, he said, you know what, I recognize that from 1995 when X, Y, and Z happened and people turned to dust. So I was thinking, wait, maybe there's a very big correlation between Captain Marvel and Infinity War that then makes Nick Fury say, you know what, this is the time for Captain Marvel, let me call her in before I get dusted. That was my original theory that I think a lot of people agreed with on. And in terms of what actually happened now, Kevin Feige the other day also responded to this question, and what he said honestly makes a lot more sense than anything we've heard or even have talked about, and that is that Nick Fury may have in fact used the pager, and maybe Captain Marvel simply didn't come. And you guys might be wondering, well, why wouldn't she come? Well, this is where sequels could easily fill in those gaps. I don't necessarily want a sequel to take place all in the past. I do want some present day sequels to Captain Marvel to see how she would be in this modern age with technology, but I still think there could be these back and forth moments and these flashbacks when Captain Marvel is in 1999 or 2003 or even 2012 and 2015, where Nick Fury did call her, but she unfortunately wasn't able to answer. And another easy solution to this is some form of time travel. Maybe with whatever she was dealing with in these sequels to Captain Marvel, somehow she was jumping through time and jumping here, jumping there, all over the place in the timeline, so that when the pager went off, she just wasn't able to respond on time. Or maybe the pager went off and she was forced to jump through like a timeline jump and she ended up in the future or back in the past or who knows what. But there could be an easy explanation as to why Captain Marvel wasn't able to return Nick Fury's request and actually go to Earth and help the Avengers out. And I think they'll come up with a pretty clever solution in the upcoming sequels, maybe even in Endgame. When in Endgame, if Nick Fury comes back, which you know he will because he's in Far From Home, maybe he'll ask her like, hey, I've been calling you, where have you been? And she'll say something like, it's a long story, or I just didn't get your calls, or something. You just never know what the explanation could be, but I'm pretty damn positive they'll come up with a pretty clever solution to this issue. And I also don't think Samuel Jackson is too far deep into the mythos of the MCU. He knows just enough to play Nick Fury, he knows just enough about the films he's in, but I don't think he's either read past the script in Far From Home, or I don't think he's read anywhere past the explanation that we have right now, which is that Captain Marvel received a call after the events of Infinity War and she then comes to Earth. Maybe he wasn't a part of that discussion with the writing team that probably did go over exactly why he never called her back then, because as far as I know, I would want to say that the events of Avengers 1 and 2 were almost just as scary as people getting dusted away in Infinity War. It was on a pretty grand scale and it was pretty damn scary in the eyes of a human. So let me know what you think of this down below in the comments section. This has been DK Dynamite. Be sure to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Turn notifications on to stay up to date with the latest and greatest Marvel news and information. I'll keep you guys up to date with everything that there is in regards to the MCU. We're only about a little over a month before the release of Endgame, and I cannot be any more excited. But peace out, everyone.